You would walk right past this, a tiny stone statue next to a convenience store. It's nothing special, except this one's hiding a tragic love story, a criminal's execution, and one of the darkest places in the entire region. This street used to be the Nakasendo, and this spot was a post town called Omiya. There were two sisters here who worked at an inn, and they were known around town for being strikingly beautiful. But they lived a terrible life. They'd actually been sold to the inn by their own parents just to pay off a debt. Women like this were common in Edo period, and they were called meshimorionna. They worked as maids, cooks, waitresses, and as prostitutes at night. They had zero control over their own lives. I made a whole video just on their story, so check that out after this one. One of the sisters was Chidori, and the other was Todori. In this crude world, all they had was each other. One day, something wonderful happens to Chidori. She falls in love, a young guy in town. They make each other a promise. Someday, somewhere, they were getting out of this life together. But then, a criminal shows up, and he wants her too. And when she says no, he threatens to burn the whole inn down. Think about that. In that moment, Chidori is not just scared for herself. Her sister sleeps in that same building. She's basically being told, say yes to me or your sister dies. She has no way out. Nobody could step in. Nobody could save her. And one night, she walked to a bridge nearby and she jumped. That's the tragedy. But here's where the story actually doesn't end. Just south of this spot was an execution ground called Shimohara Keijo, where Edo period criminals were tortured and killed, burned, crucified, or beheaded. And years later, the same criminal who ruined Chidori's life finally got caught, and he was executed right there, on that same ground. In his case, he kind of got exactly what he deserved. But guilty or not so guilty, it didn't really matter because the Edo government always had the last word. None of the people executed there ever got the chance to tell their side of the story. They died with everything left unresolved. And it wasn't just executed criminals. So many prostitutes took their own lives during Edo period, more than you think. And most of them had nobody left to claim their bodies, no family, no one to remember them. They just died quietly alone. So here's the thing about Japan. There's this deep belief that a soul can't actually rest if it dies with something unresolved, or if it dies completely alone, with nobody left to remember they ever existed. That soul just lingers. It doesn't move on. And that's the real reason you'll find so many little stone statues scattered all over this country. Jizos, little roadside shrines, tiny stone markers on random street corners. Most people assume they're just old decorations. They're not. They specifically exist to calm those kinds of souls down. Jizos are the clearest example of that. You'll see these little stone guardians everywhere in Japan, usually wearing a red bib. They almost never sit inside some big protected temple. You'll find them out on the roadside, in the wind and in the rain, right where the forgotten people actually are. And their whole job is to sit with the souls nobody else remembers until they can finally rest. So think about everyone who died at the execution grounds, criminals who never got to explain themselves, prostitutes like Chidori who died completely alone. That's exactly the kind of unfinished, unremembered death this belief is about. So villagers built a stone monument right there for all of them. And for Chidori, they built her a Jizo of her own. Not because she was a criminal, but because her life had been cut off so suddenly, so unfairly, with nobody able to save her. They hoped that wherever she went next, she would finally find some peace. Both monuments are standing there today, a few steps from the train station, surrounded by shops, traffic, everyday life. Completely unremarkable unless you know what's underneath it. So next time you spot a small stone monument or Jizo somewhere in Japan, stop and ask what happened. Chances are something tragic did. And if you take a second to say a quiet prayer, maybe you help some lost soul finally rest. If you want the full story on women like Chidori, check out my meshimorionna video. The links are in the description below. And if you found this story interesting, hit like and subscribe. There's a lot more story hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.